Challengers is for sure one of the best movies I'm going to see this year. This movie is absolutely incredible from start to finish. Now, I love my action movies, I love my horror films, but for me, there is a thing about dramatic, slice of life storytelling that really sets itself apart for me in the types of movies that I enjoy, right? One of the hardest things that this movie does is tell its story in a non-linear fashion. This movie takes place in several different time periods between the main characters' lives. And the three of them are played by Zendaya, who plays Tashi, Mike Faist, who plays Art, and Josh O'Connor, who plays Patrick. These three leads are absolutely incredible in this film. And as I was just mentioning, we jump between time periods. The entire setup, the crux of this movie is one match between Art and Patrick. And this match is for the heart of Zendaya. In reality, these characters have been playing this match in different ways throughout the years. This movie is all the different sequences of events that are the most important to their interactions and their relationships. And this was handled brilliantly. At no point in this movie was I lost or didn't understand where we were, what was going on, what time period we were in. And I just find that to be an impressive feat in filmmaking. And there are also other impressive feats of filmmaking like cinematography, the camera shots, the sound design, the different creative ways in which our director, Luca Guadagnino, I'm saying that wrong, I'm sure I am. I apologize, sir. I mean no disrespect. The camera work in this movie is absolutely incredible. I'm talking about shots of the tennis ball going from one side of the court to the other, and it's almost like the camera is in the tennis ball. You're seeing it getting hit between the players back and forth across. You're also seeing the POV of either Art or Patrick as they're running across the court. It's honestly, it's incredible. You actually get a chance to see under the court. It's like you're looking through a glass tennis court. All these different shots and all these different angles, and they all add a bit of flavor to this movie that makes it more engaging. And speaking of the flavor that's added to this movie, I also have to talk about this score. Yo, this score is incredible. And the way that it's used to highlight high, intense situations. It's like this like electronic club music. It's very loud and it's loud on purpose. It's almost like you're hearing the stress inside of Art, Tashi, or Patrick's head. And it's not always just for stress. It's also for those times in which this movie turns out to be pretty damn sexy. And it's sexy in a way that I don't find to be gratuitous. Like, there's no real nudity in terms of sex scenes in this movie. There's a few scenes in like a locker room where you'll see some nudity, which is perfectly normal for that type of environment. Like, there's no actual sex scenes. There are passionate scenes in this movie, but I wouldn't even go so far as to say that they're actually like sex scenes. Let's also get to the crux of this movie, which is the relationships between Tashi, Patrick, and Art. This relationship is messy as hell. There are no good guys in this situation. They're all equally messed up and equally treat each other terribly. You have these two men vying for the love and attention of Tashi, and you have Tashi, whose only real interest is what tennis can give her. Tennis, she sees as a relationship. There's a flow to the game where the two players understand one another as they hit the ball across the net and they get a vibe for each other. And this is something that she refers to as a real relationship. And it's interesting that parallel between what she views as a relationship on the court and what she views as a relationship off the court. All three of these people know each other well as well. They're all kind of playing a game, and the game is to win Tashi, and Tashi's game is to play the game. There are moments of passion in this movie where I'm not going to say that Tashi doesn't want to be involved in those moments, but her mind is on that high, the thing that tennis can give her that these relationships can't. There's a really toxic disconnect here. Part of the whole thing with Tashi is trying to get these men to stop being the mediocre versions of themselves. She sees any kind of weakness or any kind of lackadaisicalness with the sport as an affront to everything that she believes. And that drives these two dudes crazy. Both of them, at some point, push themselves in a way in which is completely unhealthy just to please her. Now, let me also reiterate, I should say, she is not the bad guy. They're all bad guys. There's no good guy or good gal in this movie. They're all equally toxic. It's not like the woman is the worst thing that ever. Nah, it ain't like that. These dudes, they snakes to each other, they're snakes to her. They all trash behavior. As you go throughout these different time periods, seeing the different ways in which they've taken advantage of someone's screw up in order to get closer to Tashi or in order to get someone away from Tashi. This movie is incredible. The entire film is a tennis match. This movie is top 5. Currently, right now, it's top 2 for me of the movies I've seen this year. So how many sparks am I going to give this movie? I'm going to give this movie the full 5 sparks. This movie is absolutely incredible. It's directed well. It's acted well. The camera shots, as I mentioned before, every single aspect of this film just comes together in the most beautiful of ways in this messy, messy story about these 3 human beings who need therapy. So I highly encourage you to go see this movie. Have you seen Challengers? What did you think about it? Did you enjoy it? Did you feel the opposite of the way I did? Let me know in the comments and I'll talk to you guys next time.